Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. This time I decided I was going to try and build the ultimate Game Boy. This is going to be the original DMG Game Boy, and I have all the various parts that would go into a Game Boy. The only part from a real one, or from an original one I should say, is the actual primary circuit board. That part isn't, you can't really replace that with anything. That's the heart and soul right there. But but here's all the things I'm going to be doing. All right, going to be getting a nice brand new shell, which I really like the color of this shell. Beautiful red, like very fancy. I like the look of that. And then I also got some like blue replacement membranes, and then blue buttons. My idea was it's going to be red for like the original Pokemon Red version, and then a little bit of some blue essence for a blue version in there as well. So that's pretty cool. And then I'm going to give it a rechargeable battery. It's got a battery here, and a little circuit board. And it's like USB Type C, which is pretty cool. And you can see that this shell is also custom trimmed already to include like a lot of the bits and pieces cut away so the new screen will fit. And then the battery cover actually has a hole for the charging port there. So it's pretty nifty. Don't have to do any cutting for that. One thing I may have to trim down will be the actual screen. Like the opening for the screen will need trimmed a little bit because this new screen actually has a slightly larger viewing area than this. And even though my lens has already is a custom special lens that actually is a little bit bigger, the viewing area is slightly larger, so it will accommodate that new screen. But if I don't trim back some of the red, you'll see it around the border probably. And then the screen itself comes with a nifty new PCB for the button contacts and that the screen attaches to. Then you got the actual screen itself and a little 3D printed guide that will hold it where it needs to be held. But it's pretty nifty. I'm also going to try the hardest part of all this will be the new speaker. Nice new little speaker, you know, but then also comes with a little amplifier to make it louder. This is like tiny. And I have those like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they're like 7 little pads on there that need wires soldered to them to then solder to the proper places of the board. To the various parts of this board, you have to solder some wires that run that around. That part will be a little tricky, but got a soldering iron, got some solder, and I should have all the parts to make this the ultimate Game Boy, original Game Boy. I'll have a IPS backlit LCD, a rechargeable battery, custom shell with new membranes, new buttons, all the fixings. It's gonna be glorious when it's done. I really do like the color of this. It's like looks cooler in person than from when I was ordering it. And all of these parts, by the way, come from Handheld Legend. So I suggest you check them out and buy any parts. They have about every part you could ever want for any Game Boy. To be able to, you can buy a bunch of shells and buttons and whatever and make your own Game Boy almost. All you need is an old Game Boy to be able to salvage the part here for it, the main circuit board, and everything else is like brand new that I'm sticking in there. So this should be fun. Figured I would try to film it while I do it. So I may fast forward through some parts or try to, because it could be some intense work here and there. But first things first, I'm going to try to trim away a little bit of the plastic around the screen opening with my Dremel, just to keep it from, or just to make the opening a little bigger, because the new screen is the version 4 of the IPS screen, which has a little bit of a bigger viewing angle, but it should be pretty cool once we're done there. So I'm probably gonna pause the video and go and do that so I can do it in a place where I won't get plastic dust all over everything I'm working on here. So see you in a second. Okay, I am back, and I shaved away a little bit of the plastic around the screen opening. Yeah, focus camera. But yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect, since the screen lens will kind of hide all the imperfections. But yeah, see, because that'll fall in there. Then it's pretty, if you look at it, and it's pretty lined up, you know, just to make it so the screen is fully visible. So it should be pretty good. So let's see, what part should we start with first? Let's put this drum roll aside. Here, we could try to take the OG circuit board and just stick it into where it has to go. Sorry, so this one will go into this half of the shell. So we're going to get that in there. Just gonna get you over there. Haha. Line up all the bits and bobs. We'll see in there. Okay, that's all in there. So into its new home. Okay, and actually, see one thing we can do here. We'll wanna, if you can see, most of the springs for the batteries we need to remove, actually, because the rechargeable battery only needs one, the one that's on the board, to make contact. The other's just getting in the way. Should have did that first. Let's see. See if we can get this out of there. Okay, I did it. Took a little bit of doing, but you know, those other contacts, except the one that's attached to the board, and then the other, yeah, those two that are part of the board are still in there. Just had to push them from the back. You know, this one was pretty tough, but these two just slid right out when I pushed on them. But now we just gotta screw the board in. Actually, it came with some buttons and membranes and screws. I'm going to use these blue ones for the buttons and stuff, but I can actually get the screws out and use these screws that came with it. Yeah, see that? Pretty good. And we don't want to put screws in. These holes are actually, we'll screw in from the back. And same over here. So we got, yeah, no other screws going to the board itself yet. So upward should be held in pretty, oops, yeah. Upward should be held in pretty nice. Okay. Alright. That part is done. I've never really disassembled and reassembled a Game Boy or done all these upgrades like this, so bear with me as I fumble through some of it. But that part seems to be pretty good. It's on while I work. Put the battery in last, and then we'll fire her up. So now we gotta worry about this half. This is where all the fancy stuff's gonna happen here. We got the new screen. See, this like fits in here really nice, so that's gonna be cool. Okay. But yeah, we got. Yeah, see, this kind of lines up with these holes like that, and this goes right in there. So that holds the screen where it needs to be. Okay, so let's get the screen. Got this ribbon cable. Don't lose that. This little board there, which is important. Okay. We got nice new screen. Check it out. It's gonna be awesome. Okay. So here's a little connector that's gonna connect to this guy. Look right there, it connects to the end of it. We'll fold down and connect, and they give you some double-sided tape somewhere to help secure that little board to the back of the screen. Got. So yeah, see how this can sit nicely. That way, of course. So yeah, I got it. Huh. Yeah, see. I should sit in this little guy. This comes right out the side like that. And the screen will get rest right in here and fit right where it has to go. I don't want to take the protector off yet, though, but it kind of gets in the way. Alright, there we go. Took a little finagling, but what I ended up doing was printing a couple of little strips of the two-sided tape on the other side of this 3D printed bracket, so the screen would kind of stick to it while I position it. So, it looks pretty good. And when you get the lens on there, it should be really nice. So that worked out pretty well. So now we got this little tiny board here to attach. So we're going to do that. And this guy goes in, falls in here. But this is going to have to attach up there. And this first attaches to that. So this is where we want to use a little bit of the two-sided tape as well. So let's get some of that going to help hold this little circuit board in place. Okay, this part is on. Got the ribbon cable snapped in. The board is stuck there. We got the other ribbon cable going up so it can attach to the other PCB. This is where the buttons would be making contact. So here I'm gonna have to put in the buttons for this one. Before I put that board on, let's not forget the buttons. I got these nice blue ones. So it's gonna be pretty cool. So we got that's the power button up there. We'll use that later. Okay, so these buttons just fall right into there. Okay, nice. And this guy, directional pad. No special anything there. Should go fall in there. Now we gotta stick the membranes on, which allow the buttons to make contact with the PCB. So we got this one is just for the start and select. Falls right in there. There we go. Yeah. Start and select. Then we got one for the directional pad. See? I got them blue just so they match the buttons, but it doesn't really matter what color they are. Nobody's ever going to see them. But there we go. Perfect. Now we got the one for the A and B button. Yeah, see, so this one will allow those buttons to press. Nice. So look at that. Perfect. So it's starting to take shape. And now we got the primary little back PCB, which has the button contacts on it, and that the screen's going to attach to here. So let's get this into position. Should just line up. Yeah, perfect. Nice. I should be able to hold it like this, and then we can look at that. Well, I kind of like how I didn't even plan this, but the Nintendo Game Boy text is actually blue, so it matches the buttons. That was a happy accident. So cool. Yeah, I got the. Well, that should be pretty good. Alright. Now we just gotta get this ribbon cable attached right here. See if we can do that. Okay, got that in. That was a little bit of a trick to make that going, but it's kind of making the board rise up a little bit, but it will all hold together when it's all screwed back up and everything. But so it's taking shape. Okay, now let's see next step. Okay, got all that goodness. Let's see, we got the battery here. What else we got to do? We should test the screen. Probably how we got here's the main ribbon cable for that hooks this to this. See if we can test the screen maybe before I get it all reassembled. Oh, I know. I actually want to first screw this board down. That's what I'm missing. Let's see. So we got a few screw holes here and there. Get them all started. Just about 6 screws. Should go into some of these holes. It's a little bit less than I think in the original. Okay. I'll tighten them all up once I get them started. And one over here. And so we got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws. Let's tighten them up a little. All right. Okay. Nice. Got this reattached, got that cable up there attached. And now it all stays together. Okay. I paused the video for a little bit there. That was kind of tricky. Let me explain what I had to do, because it was kind of BS. That I even had to do it to begin with, but alright, so I got this together. Looking pretty good. Yeah. Beautiful. The buttons look really nice. Like how it matches the logo, which is cool. But the buttons, when I put it all together, they wouldn't press before. They were just, it's like the shell was like a micrometer too tight in the buttonholes. So it's like the buttons would just get jammed in there. Like they would push them down, they wouldn't pop back up automatically, you know? Like they're supposed to, you know, have a little bit of a springiness to them, you know, when you're pushing them. So they pop, you know, but they would kind of push down and get stuck inside the hole, so they wouldn't come back up. The hole is like a little too tight for the buttons. It's like almost like very snug, where it needs to have a little bit more of a looseness to it so they can actually freely move. So what I ended up doing, because I really like this shell, I didn't want to have to abandon the shell. I took my Dremel and I just ran it inside the hole cavities a few times. Shaved off a little bit of the plastic inside the holes, and we had like loosened them up enough so now the buttons press. So, and luckily I didn't mess up the outside of the shell, so you can't even tell the outside. I didn't nick anything to make, you know, the paint job get all screwed up or anything like that. So it still looks pretty good. So they press, and then the D-pad. Seems like that worked from the beginning, so I didn't have to mess with that. Then the start and select seemed pretty springy. So, good tactile button presses. So this half of the shell is pretty much assembled. I want to be able to test the screen though. I'm gonna try to attach this ribbon cable and the buttons, or I'm sorry, the ribbon cable and the battery. Maybe just so I get power to it to see if it actually lights up the screen. So see if we can do that. Okay. It's kind of tricky, but I got the ribbon cable here attached at least, so I can try to power it up. I need to try to get this. Yeah, the battery will go like that. I want to at least attach the cable here. Okay. So I'm going to put this in there. And see if I can at least get some kind of power to it. Just to test it. There we go. Alright, check it out. Haha. Nice. Alright, the screen works. There. I was able to make the battery contacts touch just long enough to see if it works. Alright. We've almost done it. The hardest part, that was going to be the speaker mod. That has to be like soldered in several places on the main board. So we're going to see if we can do that maybe. I have to detach this cable though, which is a pain. There we go. Yeah, I have to do several soldering points all around this board to get the little new amp on there and the new speaker wired up. But screen looks like it works and it looks pretty beautiful. So I think I'm gonna put the lens on at least to protect it. Got the screen pretty clean. Now, gonna put the lens on, which is pretty, should be a little bit slightly larger than stock, just to fit that. Alright, looking good. Check it out. Sweet. I might want to. I should have trimmed back that plastic maybe a little more, but. Okay, everybody. A little bit of time has passed, but I was able to get the screen fully installed with the screen lens on it. It looks really good. The buttons are all functional, and so this part of the cable's in the back. But so we're getting there. We're getting there. Now we got two halves, pretty much all hooked up. Only thing we're missing now is the speaker. That's going to take some doing, because that involves soldering. Here's the little speaker. Yeah, it's gonna go like right there basically, and so it'll be like in this part here, facing down like that. It will be wired to this new tiny little, very tiny little, you can find it, didn't lose it, there it is, it's a little amp. Supposedly this will make the Game Boy much louder, bypassing the built-in amp and just getting more sound to the speaker. Now this is going to involve some soldering though. See all these little pads on there, I need to solder them up and get wires attached and run them where they have to go. See, here's a, let's see, here's kind of where the If I can get the screen. There you go. Here's like a little diagram where it has to go. Or I guess I can stick it anywhere, but you just need to have the speaker wires run into a couple of the pads there, and then the little other wires go into all these different points all over the main board. So I'm not sure how much of this I'm gonna be able to capture on camera. Zoom in, you know. I will try to do it, but I'm probably gonna time lapse it or something because it's gonna take some work. And I have my soldering iron. It's like it's really cool, like USB-C, like programmable soldering iron. It's really nifty. And I have solder. And I have all the other. I have a wire strippers and cutters, and an actual little box with just a bunch of different types of or colors of wire I can use for this. Should be able to get them going where they have to go. I'm going to probably not do much talking during this next bit while I focus and try time lapse, hopefully installing this and getting it working. So I'll talk to you after I get this all set up, and hopefully we can test out the Game Boy. So let's get going, or should I say soldering. Okay, it's not pretty, but it's soldered to the points it needs to be soldered to. I am not the best solderer in the world. That took some time. Those points are so small on this chip and on the board. But yeah, I have not soldered much in my life. But I want to see before I actually fire it or reattach everything, see if maybe it actually works. I'm just trying to get everything so I can hear if sound comes out of here. Hopefully I didn't bridge any connections when I was attaching everything, but I'll make it pretty. I'll make it pretty after I can test it. Try to wrap wires around a little bit better, but I probably should have cut some of them shorter. I want to put the battery in. Let's see if I can just get in here just so I can test it. Okay. See if I can get that tucked down there. At least put the... Looks pretty flat. See if I can get that down there. There we go. Alright, look at that. That's actually pretty good. You got the port right there. This will match the color. Aha, yeah, that goes in there good. Alright, now I just have to attach the front part and see if it fires up. Other side and... Alright. I think we're good. Maybe. Oh. Oh, wow. Listen to that. Look how beautiful this is. And listen to that sound. That is louder. I've done it. Alright. That's the maximum volume. And we should be able to change the ticket. That's awesome. Nice. Nice. Put it down a little bit. That sounds awesome and looks awesome. It's functional. That little speaker. That little speaker is all amped up. Now I just have to reassemble it all, make it look a little prettier. But that's awesome. It works wonderfully. Okay, now let's see if I can get it reassembled and looking nice. Okay, so I got the cable semi-organized. I should have made them way shorter, but it took me forever to get it all to, or it took me forever to get everything soldered, so I'm not gonna mess with it and try again. And they kept coming off too, so I had to keep resoldering them. So it seems like it's stable in one place, so I'm just gonna leave it for now. While I get the lid closed, that's all that matters. So I have this little sticker kind of thing for the speaker to hold in place, so you can do that and then try to close her up. Alright everybody, we have finally done it. I was able to get the shell back together. It's a little tight in there, but I think it should be good. Hopefully the wires won't get too pinched or anything, but as you can see, we got the battery installed with the beautiful USB Type-C charging port. This shell looks gorgeous. I love the blue buttons that match the blue words on lettering, which was a whole complete accident, but worked out. It looks really nice. I like how it contrasts off of one another. But let's turn it on. Yeah, check it out. Listen to that speaker. Yeah. Alright. I like how I have the screen set to a decent color palette, so it looks like the game is in color, even though it's for the original Game Boy. But you can push like the contrast slider has turned into an actual like wheel that changes the settings of the screen. You can like push it in to get like different color palettes. I was getting stuck for a second there, but now look at it go. You can switch between all the different color palettes. Yeah, I like that one because it's more of a proper coloring for a lot of things there, but you can also then lower the brightness by rolling it down. Yeah. Nice. And you can also go into like some settings. It's like a menu to be able to adjust like the X and Y axis and all that stuff and move the screen around, which maybe I would want to do because you can see a little bit of a black border around the bottom and the side, so you can kind of adjust it up, over and down a little bit to actually make it. There, that's how you do it. All right. You got your brightness, then you got your V position. So, let's see, how do we do this? There we go. H position. 15. Let's see. So you go over like that. Let's see. That's pretty good. Looks pretty decent. Okay. Let's see. There we go. I can actually lower it a little bit there. See, it's like a little bit of a. Let's get down a little bit lower. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So now it has a better position there. That looks pretty nice. Alright. Well, you got your pixel effect on or off. Yeah, so that just kind of adds a sort of pixelated effect to it, so it looks a little more retro. I kind of like it off though. Then you got like a battery display, which is kind of cool. Turn that on. Yeah, see up in the corner now it has like a little battery indicator. I think I'll leave it out there. That's kind of nice. And okay, cool. There we go. Now we're back to normal. You can adjust the brightness, switch to color modes, but I think I have the position is pretty good. That speaker sounds really good. Go into the game. This is gorgeous. And the screen is a little bit bigger than the actual original screen on the original Game Boy. But yeah. It's looking nice. And all the buttons work. Got the A button should work. Let's see, yep, there we go. B button should work. Yeah. Got start. Nice. Okay. Pretty good. I don't think the select really did anything in red and blue. So, but all the buttons seem to work. Got our volume. Go down or up. Yeah, listen how loud I can get now. With that new amp working like a charm. Probably never need to have it maximum. Halfway is perfect. But, well, we've done it, everybody. It's gorgeous. I love it. It's the ultimate original Game Boy. This is cool. I'm just glad I was able to finally get it all together in the end. It wasn't without its trials and tribulations. And little caveats here and there, like when I had to use my Dremel to make the holes for the A and B button like a micron bigger, practically. It seemed like just so they can freely push before they would. It's like almost like they were too snug, so it would just get stuck if you push it down. But now it works, and everything's responsive. Yeah, nice. Yeah. But this is a gorgeous mod. Pretty much, it's basically a brand new Game Boy with just the main circuit board is the only piece recycled from it. That's the only part you have to use to keep it a Game Boy. But the screen assembly and the green PCB and then the speaker and the shell and the buttons, the screen lens, everything's like brand new from Handheld Legend, where I bought all the parts. So I suggest you go check them out. And one thing I'll suggest to them, they should make these holes a little, like a nanometer bigger, just like a micron bigger or something, just like, so the buttons will push properly. Because they are too snug on this shell. But I think that'll about wrap it up for this video. I'm just going to have to edit it together in a coherent fashion. I kept stopping and starting recording and having to figure things out, and you know, probably some time lapses and some other types of just cutting out a lot of the boring bits when I'm trying to solder, which was kind of horrible because I'm not the best. But everybody, I hope you've enjoyed this Game Boy build. I'm calling it the Ultimate Game Boy. It's basically rechargeable battery, IPS version 4 screen, beautiful shell. What else could you ask for? So it's like 100 times better than the original, you know, technology-wise, and it is quite ultimate. So, thanks for watching, everybody. Remember to like and subscribe if you don't want to miss anything. And everybody have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.